Men who fetish traditional women and obsess over women that are modest, obedient, quiet, and homemakers are walking red flags. They are insecure boys that are intimidated by strong, confident women. Get a dog if you want obedience.
Have you ever heard the expression that, I've never met a woman who didn't have the ability to make a situation about herself? You might think that a man expressing his preference for a woman with traditional values, someone who's kind, who's feminine, who treats him well, that's a statement about him, about his preferences, his values. But that's not what she hears. Somewhere between the words leaving his mouth and entering her ears, those words, they go through like a magical transformation, and suddenly it's not a statement about him. No, it's about her. It's a personal attack on her. A lot of women possess this incredible ability to take whatever it is that you say, whether it's neutral or it's just about you, and then somehow make it about them. The main character syndrome is so deeply embedded into their psyche that they literally cannot even conceive of there being a situation or a story being told that doesn't have them at the absolute center. And this is not me as a man being sexist pointing this out. Women are very aware of this phenomenon from other women. There's a whole genre on TikTok of women making fun of their female friends for always making every situation about themselves. Women know better than anybody else how other women do this. Make everything personal, make it about themselves. Watch this demonstration clip of a woman showing how you can even take a friend's sadness and make it about yourself. Make yourself a victim.
Well, no, it's just like, okay, you're lonely. What am I, chopped liver? Really? No one understands you. What am I doing then? Oh, okay, so I don't exist. No, it's fine. You said you don't have anyone to, okay, so then I'm not here, I'm a ghost. If your life is so bad and I'm part of your life, go ahead, keep going. I am listening, it's just like, you're really gonna talk about being sad, which means that you've been sad every time you've ever hung out with me. Okay, so that's, it's like I'm not getting any credit for like listening to you and like being your friend.
I know that woman is acting, but I found that unnerving how accurate her portrayal was. I feel like I've heard those exact things said in that exact manner many times in my life. Impressive, really. It's like a superpower. No matter how much a situation is actually just about you, there's going to be a woman out there who somehow, in some manner, is going to be able to make it about her. Now, women understand this. That's why they tease each other about this. They make fun of each other because they understand that impulse to want to have the spotlight, to want to be the center of attention. You've ever heard a bunch of women speaking with each other in a group? They're like constantly interrupting each other, just wanting to talk about themselves. It's exhausting to listen to. And as men, it can be very difficult to relate to because a lot of us, we like to hold back. We don't want the spotlight. We're happy to be on the sidelines. There's not that same impulse to just turn absolutely every situation about ourselves, but it can make it very, very difficult for men to navigate these situations when they come up. Men get really confused by this. They're trying to talk to their girlfriend about some issue they're facing or some problem they're solving, and instead of helping, the woman just hijacks the conversation and makes it about herself. This is not an accident, do you understand? Like, for a lot of women, if you give them the choice between hearing something and then interpreting it in a neutral way and hearing something and making it personal, they will choose to make it personal. That's what they want because it means attention. It means drama, excitement. She would way rather have a conversation about her than a conversation about you. You say to your girlfriend, I think I'm going to go have a shower, get dressed now. That way we're not late to the party. And she responds, what, do you think that I take too long to get dressed? Are you saying it's my fault that we're always late to everything? You say, look, can we talk about this tomorrow? I'm really tired. I worked really hard today. I'm just too exhausted to have this conversation. And she responds, are you saying I didn't work hard today? You think that you're the only one who works, that I don't work? You say, no, baby, look, I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean any of that. Look, I don't want to fight tonight. I just want to relax. And she responds with, oh, so you're saying I want to fight. If we have an argument, it's my fault. I'm the cause of all of our issues. Is that what you're saying? You see, this is not an accident that the conversation is going this way. This is what she wants. When a woman is determined to take whatever you're doing, whatever you're saying personally, so that she can play out a victimhood narrative, it's very difficult for you as a man in her proximity to make any choices that are about you because that lens of interpretation pushing her towards that victimhood story, it's just so strong. It sucks everything in like a vortex. Observe.
Hey, what's up?
Hey.
What you doing?
Nothing.
How was your day?
Good.
That's cool.
So you just gonna play the game instead of talk to me?
What?
You just gonna play the game instead of talk to me?
No, I was just...
No, you know what? You can play the game if you want to. Bye.
Hello?
So you're not gonna call me back?
What? You hung up on me?
No, it's fine if you don't want to talk to me. You can play the game. Goodbye.
Why do women always take things so personally? Why do they assume that it's about them? Why do they want that? What is the psychology operating here? What exactly is going on inside the mind of a woman? I'm going to explain that in a moment, but first I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Tiege Hanley. 2024 is here. It's a new year. You've probably got some resolutions, maybe stay fit, improve your diet. If you haven't done so already, I'm going to suggest that you add skincare to that list. The quality of your skin plays a massive part of your appearance, and people notice. But the good news is that it doesn't take that much effort to have great looking skin. Tiege Hanley have done all the hard work for you. They've researched what are the best ingredients and they figured out how to make it affordable. Their starter box comes with everything that you need. You got your AM cream, your PM cream, your daily moisturizer, your facial scrub. It even comes with an instruction card that tells you exactly how much to use and when to use it. This is a product made specifically for men, and they know what men want. They want things to be simple and easy and straightforward. If you live inside the US, they'll even ship their product directly to you for free. People love Tiege Hanley products. Check out these recent reviews. The system is nice, very easy to follow, makes the day-by-day easier. Not complicated at all and completely changed my face. Love it. Because Tiege Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my audience an amazing deal. When you click the link in the description box below, you're going to get not only 30% off your first order, but also a free gift. Don't miss out on this amazing deal. Click on the link and get started today. Okay, back to why women always take things personally and assume that everything is about them. Sadly, part of the reason for this is because we live in a culture that encourages women to only think about themselves. When you hear the words female empowerment, you know they're not talking about respect for men, cooperating with men, learning from men, entering into mutually beneficial partnerships with men. No, that's not what female empowerment means. To be an empowered woman in this culture has a very specific meaning, and it's quite different if you were a man. When we think of an empowered man, we think about what he gives back. Someone who's a leader, who employs people, gives them jobs. A husband who provides for his wife and children. We support a man being an empowered man because we know that he's going to use that empowerment to provide and support for others. But an empowered woman has a very different meaning. An empowered woman has a completely selfish agenda. It's all for her benefit. An empowered woman is someone who looks out for herself, who only thinks about herself. And it explicitly means the rejection of men, not working with them. Ignoring men and men's needs and focusing on yourself. That's female empowerment. Female empowerment, by definition, means male exploitation. Women empower themselves at the expense of men.
What should a wedding ring cost?
Like 10,000.
10,000.
Yeah. 62,000.
Why such a specific number?
I have one in mind already, and if it's not that one, it's not it. No.
What about you?
60,000.
60,000.
50,000 at least.
When coming up with these figures, 40,000, 50,000, 62,000, do you think that these women are spending any time at all thinking about the sacrifice that the man is going to have to make in order to buy her this vanity object? Here's a dialogue that every one of these women should be having inside of their mind, like, would I like a nice expensive ring? Of course, who doesn't like pretty objects? It's going to make me smile and my happiness is important. On the other hand, in order to afford a $50,000 ring, my man, who I love, is going to have to work thousands of hours of overtime at a job he probably hates, and he'd rather be spending time relaxing, on the golf course or going out fishing. So let's weigh these two things up, shall we? Like, my happiness at having an expensive ring that gives me an ego boost, or my man suffering and slaving away when he should be able to relax. Any woman who weighs up those factors and then doesn't reach the conclusion of, you know what, my man's mental health is more important than me having an expensive ring, she's just a walking red flag. She doesn't view you as a human being worthy of consideration. Again, it's all about her. Men, let me give you some straight talk for a moment. You cannot afford to ignore this. If you're tempted to think like, oh yeah, but all women are a bit self-involved. Yeah, of course they're going to make it about themselves. They're women, we just got to put up with it. No, you got to have higher standards than this. You don't understand how dangerous the game is that you're playing. Do you understand the implications here? If you allow a woman to be that self-involved where everything is always about her, there's not going to be any room for you, for your personal existence. It's going to slowly erase your identity as you gradually lose the ability to state preferences, to make choices that are about you, because everything is now always about her. At that point, you don't exist. Men need to have the freedom to be able to state their preferences, make their choices about themselves, and not have it be interpreted by their female partner as a personal attack upon them. This is not a luxury, this is a necessity. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, please pay attention in this next section. It's vital that you get this. Let's take a typical example of a man expressing preferences about himself. He might say, I like feminine women. I want to date a feminine woman who treats me kindly. That is a statement about him and about his preferences. End of story. But enter into the situation a woman who decides that she wants to take that personally. But I'm not a feminine woman. Like, why are you trying to change me? Why are you trying to control me? Do you see how suffocating it would be to be in a relationship with a woman who did not grant you the freedom, the right to express your thoughts, to express your preferences about yourself, about just you as a sovereign individual? If she is inherently codependent and just makes everything about herself, then you cease to exist. She's just like this black hole that sucks in everything around her. It's all about her. She's the center of gravity. Suddenly, you've lost the freedom to talk about what it is that you like, what your preferences are, what your standards are. No, now everything that you do is interpreted through the lens of you trying to control her.
Why is it controlling? How about a guy just has some standards for himself and he's saying to himself, if I'm going to date you and we're going to be exclusive and I'm going to prioritize you in multiple ways, I have expectations of you, which means that you're not going to go out, get sloppy drunk with your friends, be around a bunch of guys that are going to be like, the whole time, and maybe behave badly because people make not so great decisions when they drink. And why are you putting yourself in that situation? I don't want to give my exclusivity to someone who's going to voluntarily put themselves in those situations. And by the way, if you have me and you're so happy with me, why do you need to do all of that?
That right there, that is what we've lost. Everything that she just said makes complete sense. It's completely reasonable, completely rational. But in this culture, it doesn't seem like men have that freedom to make these preferences known, to state these standards out loud. In a culture where every woman is taking everything personally, he's not allowed to make statements about himself. No, everything that he's saying is interpreted through this lens of he's criticizing, he's controlling. It's not about him, the man. It's about me, the woman. It's always about me. And you see, this is why I don't think when women are taking everything that's happening around them personally and making it about themselves, I don't think this is an accident. I don't think that this is like a mistake that they're making in good faith. They're not slipping up and being like, oh, whoops, I guess I shouldn't have taken everything so personally. Well, what an accident. I think that the truth is way darker than that. When a woman is incapable of listening to your perspective as a man and accepting that you're talking about yourself, you're not talking about her, when she can't hear your thoughts and opinions as neutral, if she feels personally insulted at everything that you say and do, what I think that reveals is that she doesn't see you as a fellow human being. She genuinely doesn't have a conception of you as having like an independent existence. You're not a real human being in the same way that she is. She has thoughts. She has emotions. She has perspectives. She matters. She exists, which is why it makes sense that the stuff that's going on around her, that's about her. But in her mind, you, a man, you don't really exist. You're irrelevant. She's spending no time thinking about you or your perspective. Of course she's making it about herself because as far as she can tell, she's the only real person in the room. Of course it's going to be about her because you don't matter. It's completely dehumanizing. And I'm sure a bunch of you guys in the audience, you can relate to what I'm talking about. You've been in a relationship, a friendship, a romantic relationship, whatever it might be, with a woman who made everything about herself. You seemed incapable of talking about yourself, your own life experiences, your own opinions without her automatically sucking it all up and making it about herself. Didn't you feel in those situations like you didn't exist, you didn't matter in her eyes? I know that this is scary to contemplate the implications, but really, what other explanation is there for women who are completely comfortable to just be like, yeah, I need $50,000 engagement ring, that's what I deserve, with zero thought as to what it's going to take from the man to be able to afford that? How can you reach any other conclusion than the woman is deeply sexist and believes that her happiness is so much more important than his? She matters. She's important. What he has to do to make her happy, irrelevant. I don't even think about it. And while I've been talking about this on an individual level, I believe that this is what's happening collectively whenever we talk about men's rights. Have you ever had this experience of talking to a woman about like the men's rights movement and their first reaction is surprise? Like, huh? Like, what are you talking about? Like, I've never heard of any of this before. What men's mental health epidemic? What's this suicide rate? What do you mean there's no domestic violence shelters for men? What do you mean that child custody is incredibly unfair and biased? Like, I don't even understand what you're talking about. Like, I've never heard of this. It's not even like the specifics of those issues that shock women. It's like the idea that men could have issues that just is a complete surprise to them. Why is it a surprise for women to find out that men exist, that men find life hard, that we might have unique struggles? Why is it a complete shock to them to learn this information? Because they've literally spent zero time thinking about it.
Women have to go through cramps, periods. Men have to go through not that much shit.
So, okay, so you just listed some problems that women have. Don't men have problems as well?
Yeah. Fucking random boners.
That's the only problems that we have?
What are some other problems that men have?
I mean, most suicide victims are men. Isn't that a problem that we have?
So do women.
She's told that male suicide is an epidemic, and what's her response? Women deal with that too. Instantly making it about her, like a reflex. Do you understand? It's not hyperbole when I say that some women are literally incapable of understanding that men are humans like they are. That we deserve dignity, that we deserve respect, that we deserve consideration. Some women literally cannot hear about a problem that a man is having without making it about themselves. Men suffering, completely unimportant, free to just ignore it, laugh about it even. A woman suffering, sacred, precious, we must do everything that we can. What other explanation could there possibly be for that double standard than a very deep, very dark sexism at the hearts of many women? And are these women deeply ashamed about their dehumanizing views on men? No, they think it's funny.
What's your type?
I got the abs, nice skin, tall.
Okay. What about you? Man, I like me something real slim. You know what I'm saying? I like me something, big bone, real slim.
Oh, that's body shaming.
Tell me how you just said the same thing I did. So how's that body shaming? Respectfully.
Cause guys don't have feelings. Like, this fuck guys. We body shaming all these girls. You gotta look nice for your girl.
All right, but you know what? Double standards. Jada Pickett. That's all I'm gonna say. Respectfully. Champagne.
You gotta be impressed. In that one short clip, not only did she manage to make it completely about herself, but she also revealed the truth for how so many women view modern men. They don't have feelings. With women like this, the temptation is just to go up to them and look them in the eyes. Just force them to look at you, to acknowledge that there's humanity inside you. Like, hey, you see me, right? You see, I exist. I have thoughts, I have feelings, I have suffering, just like you. It's so much easier to treat people badly when you strip them of their humanity. Men aren't real humans. They don't have feelings. Give me a break. He's not expressing a preference, he's trying to control women. In a world where only women are important, that's the only possible explanation. At the collective level, the idea that there could be a movement concerned for the welfare and suffering of men is just inconceivable to some women. Why would you be concerned about the plight of men? Remember, men aren't real humans. That's just a cover. It's not about protecting men's rights. No, it's about controlling women. It's about taking away women's rights. The name of it is literally men's rights movement. And yet, even though the word men is in the title, women will still find a way to make it about themselves. In a way, this channel exists as a kind of a Rorschach test. Like if you're subscribed to my channel and you watch my videos, what you see in my content reveals a lot about yourself. When you watch my videos, do you see a man who's sincerely concerned about the suffering of men, who wants to improve things, who wants to change the culture, who wants to encourage men and women to get along with each other and have healthy relationships? If so, you're seeing reality, but you understand that's not what a feminist, like a really hardcore radical feminist, sees when she watches my videos. As much as I might be talking about men and like, man, you gotta have standards, you gotta watch out for yourself, find a woman who treats you nicely, don't put up with any abuse. I could say that message over and over and over again about protecting men, and all she's gonna hear is he's attacking women. All that stuff about like helping men, that's just a smokescreen. The real agenda here is to hurt women. Of course, if your basic foundational assumption is that men don't exist, men don't matter, men aren't real humans, and only women are important, of course you're going to make this about women. But let's be intellectually honest here. Alexander, aren't you cherry picking? You know, you're saying here in this video that women make everything about themselves, but I know like plenty of guys who are complete pricks. All ego, all puffery, they make everything about themselves. Why are you saying that this is gendered? Aren't men just as obnoxious and self-involved? Oh yeah, big time. Men are no angels. Plenty of men out there also share this obnoxious personality trait of making everything about them. Absolutely, there are similarities, but I make the case that for men, it manifests differently and it has a different point of origin from women. In the Patreon version of this video, I explain all about that, as well as instructions on how to test yourself if you are one of these men who's always making things about you. If you want to see that video, it's available on my Patreon. That's where you get the full-length version of my videos. What you see on YouTube, these are just shortened, abridged versions. The full versions are on Patreon. It typically goes that on YouTube, I stick to the more simple stuff. The things are a little bit more black and white, like watch out for this from women, etc., etc. A lot of the more like inwardly critical things, like looking at the dark aspects of male psychology, I save for Patreon. So if you're feeling courageous and you don't mind the mirror being pointed back at you, I encourage you to come over to Patreon and check it out.